Today probably what I think about the ridiculousness that is girl dinner and boy dinner that's popped up over this past summer, okay? I know, I'm late to the game, but I was traveling, so whatever. We'll rant about it now. Ayo, Zempuck here. So due to the stupidity that is TikTok, I mean, I'm not really knocking the platform. I am on it myself, link below. But really, it's more that I think these extremely short form of anything is a waste of time. Looking at you, Twitter as well, I mean, X, I mean, whatever the heck Elon has turned that garbage pile into at this point, okay? Anyway, so today's topic is about girl dinners versus boy dinners. Of course, right off the bat, I have to say this isn't some actual kind of gendered thing, just stereotypes that today's young adults made up because they think somehow they're the only people who've dreamt up of gross overgeneralizations before, okay? Yeah, no. All these things that these terms mean have existed before. But you know, kids will be kids, making up terms for things that already has happened. My favorite still remains house hacking, which is just the age-old tradition of getting a roommate when you're poor, okay? But anyway, boy dinners and girl dinners come close as to how inane they are. Still, I do appreciate what simple terms they are and the type of imagery that they can conjure up. So, well, no one's called me a boy for quite some years. Let's see if I can personally relate to either of these terms and which one I think is superior. After all, it's always a competition, right? Especially if you name it girl versus boy. Anyway, if you enjoy some random rants from this old dude with obviously no production skill, right? Like, subscribe, share, comment, or whatever. Okay, I'll be great regardless because I just do these for funsies. Hit that bell button. I think that exists somewhere. I don't really know where it is. Okay, but people who watch YouTube more often than I do probably knows, right? Okay, the original term that started it all, girl dinner, defined as, well, basically a snack board, right? Think bread, cheese, pickled things, raw fruits and vegetables, maybe nuts, and some spread. Basically, all the articles that I read about this subject agree that it's a summer type of meal because, well, you don't actually have to cook any of these ingredients. Most likely you eat it by yourself, and to make it sound more girly, some suggestions have been made about the presentation, or maybe, you know, you eat it after lighting some candles. Well, that last bit is just silly. I mean, what meal can be enhanced by a little bit of atmosphere, right? But honestly, I don't know of anybody who would do candlelit dinners by themselves, okay? You know, or at least maybe people I know have never admitted to that. Yeah, because atmosphere usually does equal to, you know, more work to maintain and to clean up. And when someone's eating alone, does that really matter? Okay, tangent over. But what about the actual food? Surprisingly, I don't mind most of the items that are listed as part of girl dinner, right? Except the raw fruits and vegetables. Those are totally lame and require way too much grocery planning, right? Because those are the things that will go bad first. And vegetables should always be cooked. Yes, set I, an Asian dude, right? Fruits do not really count as any part of a meal, only as a snack. And since we're calling this a dinner, so fruits gotta go. But other than that, like pickles, bread, cheese, nuts, spread, and maybe a little bit of meat sounds like a great, easy to make meal. Who can complain about that, right? I personally find it pretty appealing because I love variety in texture and taste alike. By the way, apparently Germans eat these kind of variety plates all the time for dinner, and no one thinks girly when they think of Germans, do they? So variety is the best, I approve. Just hold the candles and the worthless veggies and fruits. Now, gotta move on to that gendered reaction, right? If girl dinner is all about variety, what the heck is boy dinner, right? And from the minds of the immature kids who dominate TikTok, apparently boy dinner is just eating one single thing at a time, presumably for the calories only? The example that they gave was just a steak, or eating a surprising find in one's messy apartment in terms of like leftover pizza, or even poorly made frozen pizza that needs to be teared apart by hand because apparently boys don't have pizza cutters? I mean, I don't disagree on that, right? Bro, who needs tools? Okay, first of all, let's talk about the examples that I just gave, right? Steak is just plain good. I just eat a steak that's just a steak without any fixings, but it wouldn't just be for the calories because steak by itself is just super delicious, okay? Also, leftovers are awesome. I know what kind of leftovers I have though because I'm not a child, okay? If you have leftovers, just put it in the fridge, okay? Especially leftover pizza, okay? You don't even need to reheat it. It's just like leftover pizza straight out of the fridge, delicious. And also, pizza cutters, I agree. They're for restaurants. Because they're useful for measuring out portions. At home, just eat it, okay? Especially if it's a frozen pizza, okay? The bread is already a holder, so you don't need any specialized tools like a pizza cutter, okay? Use a steak knife. All dudes have steak knives, right? You know, see the number one thing dudes eat, just steak. But mostly for these boy dinners, I resent the implication that somehow only girls want variety in their food, right? Because when we really think about the most common type of boy dinner, they do have variety because it is most likely some sort of pizza, right? And you can have multiple types of meats or other toppings on a pizza, and pizza by its definition is already bread, cheese, and sauce, which is like a spread when you think about it, okay? So that's 3 base ingredients before the topping. So fundamentally, is that really that different than the girl dinner, which is just a variety on a board? Are girls and boys really that different? At least on a pizza, it's easier to hold, okay? Because it, you know, the actual dough is the container. So, which one do I actually prefer? Boy or girl dinner? Surprisingly these days, I'd say I'd occasionally eat a snack board when I'm too lazy to make actual food. I love cheese, I love nuts, love some low-level carbs. Always I would put some type of meat on there. But that's coming from a perspective of someone who's been retired for, what, like 5 years now? And I do cook more often than not, right? So if I'm making a hot dinner most days of the week, I'm totally fine with like one day just winging it with these very easily available snacks for like a dinner, right? So that's definitely way closer to girl dinner, right? What I love about having a variety of protein-dense foods is that honestly it's hard to stuff yourself with it, right? Now, when I used to have a stressful day job, right, like I think my feelings would have been different, right? If I just worked 10 to 12 hours and when I get home, a cold dinner absolutely would not do, right? And hell, I might overeat because I feel like I deserved it after kind of stressing myself out after work, right? But that's a period of my life that I don't miss at all. So now a light dinner like what girl dinner seems to be will totally work. And while I definitely indulge what some people might call a boy dinner sometimes too, right? I just never have those for like dinner time, right? Leftovers are for lunch. Come on, at some point people have to grow up. I mean, I'm just a much more proficient cook these days. Frozen pizzas are for children, so a steak with no fixings are also for children. And I can multitask and make more than one thing at a time, okay? I mean, it helps that I have a ton of free time and resources, so, you know, your mileage may vary, I'm aware of that. So, in conclusion, I do think both girl and boy dinners have their place in life. I can only hope that the TikTok generation will kind of grow out of relying on just snacks for meals. I mean, it's probably because at least neither of these stereotypes are very prone to massive portions, like what most Americans offer, most American restaurants, right? Which I do, which is the reason why I do like it, right? Because I did see, this is a final tangent, some ladies react poorly to girl dinners because they're like, oh, this is a snack, it's not enough food. So worried about these ladies who are talking about girl dinners. And I just have to say, what? In one of the fattest countries in the world? How about we overreact to a snack dinner when the good old US of A has a reputation of being too thin? Yeah, because right now we're all the way on the fat end of the spectrum, right? I wouldn't mind girl dinner as a concept becoming more popular, if only because it doesn't include what most Americans think are completely necessary food groups, which are soda, fried foods, and dessert. Yeah, that's like look at me, dudes, okay? If I said, oh, I don't want to go to the gym because I don't want to get too jacked, you know, coming from what I look like, thinking that being too jacked is a problem. I mean, just like ladies talking about girl dinners are not too much food versus me getting too jacked, even though I've never gone to a gym, okay? I mean, I guess that's a possibility, but it's extremely unlikely, right? So what's your lazy meal of choice? Comment below or whatever. Now cheers, I'll approach it